Chuck Martin 2 years ago, the Pro Mogul champion. Last year in the final race, he lost the overall title to this man, Cameron Boyle, now the defending champ, perennial top dog, and local favorite. But don't forget that last year's opening event was won by 5-time world champ and ageless wonder, Scott Koff. This is the turning, burning, high-flying excitement of the Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls. Hello everybody, I'm Duffy Wilson and welcome to the Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls presented by Patron. We're here in Heavenly, California for the first stop of a 3-stop national championship tour. Last night the weather forecast was 5 feet of snow and snowing all day long, but when we got up this morning the skies have cleared, the clouds have lifted, and we have 2 feet of fresh powder on the course. Joining us in Heavenly, of course, the top professional mogul skiers in the world. Joining me on the telecast to tell you about these skiers, 2-time world champion, Olympic bronze medalist, Nelson Carmichael. Nelson is at the start.
Duffy, the story from here at the start is really about a couple skiers that aren't here. First of all, last year's tour champ, the defending champ, Cameron Boyle. He's out with a shoulder injury right now. Good buddy of his, Bradley Holmes. He's out with a knee injury. These guys can't ski. But hey, who is here? Well, take a look around. Chuck Martin, a former tour champ, great skier. We're looking for good stuff out of you, Chuck. Bobby Aldegary, he's standing here getting ready to go. Great skiers looking for big air. One of the things that they're going to have to watch out for is this heavy snow as it packs down, as the skiers ski the line over and over. It gets a little slick, gets a little gnarly.
The Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls is brought to you by Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care. For fit, vibrant hair nourished and cared for by the elements of our earth. Nelson, as you were making your way to the booth, Bobby Aldegary was making his way out of the competition as he skied around the lower air and then went boom, goodbye Bobby Aldegary, the number 2 seed. The number 1 seed, Chuck Martin, his teammate, was eliminated by Tom Brand.
Hey, in dual competition, anything can happen. Single elimination, bingo, those guys are out.
All right, let's take a look at that quarterfinal bracket. At the top, it's Scott Skyman Harrington going up against Shane McConkey. And look at the bottom of that bracket. The Frenchmen are on the bottom, but they couldn't make it to the finals. Kene and Rachel beat down there. In the middle, Chris Carson and Klaus Holm, Jared Simmons, and Scott Koff. All right, we're ready for the start. It'll be Scott Skyman Harrington on the blue course, Shane McConkey on the red.
Okay. Red course ready? Blue course ready? Racers ready? Go!
And Scotty Skyman Harrington is on course. On the blue course is Harrington, and on the red course is Shane McConkey. A couple of great skiers, Nelson. They're going to fly.
Oh, yeah, these big, bad bumps up top here. You got to survive this part. Then you can get into the middle where it's a little bit more fun.
McConkey coming down on the red course.
Getting a little wild in the middle there as Harrington getting ahead, going into that second jump. Wow, that's some big air there, but backseat, he's hanging on through the finish, though, Duffy.
And by a 15-10 margin, Scott Skyman Harrington advances over Shane McConkey.
Scott Harrington with some big air on the second jump blue course, but he's back on his heels and almost crashes. Luckily, he lands in the soft snow and is able to hang on.
Hanging on is Skyman, hanging out Cameron Boyle and Bradley Holmes. Smile. Bradley Holmes not smiling this year as the number 4 skier last year, former member of the U.S. team, is gone. And Cameron Boyle enjoys the view of the lake, but not from the start. He says he'll return at our next event. You stay with us. We'll return to Heavenly right after this. Welcome back to Heavenly, California, the Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls. At the top of the course, as we're in our quarterfinals, it's Scott Koff, 5-time world champion. He'll be on the red course. Jared Simmons will be on the blue course. Simmons, a former U.S. team skier. Nelson, he skied with you. Scott Koff, skied a long time in the pros.
Blue course ready.
I've also skied with Scott Koff. He's been in there a long time. Great skier, skis a little bit lower, but very fast.
Jared Simmons has skied very well in preliminary competition, and Koff had trouble trouble just above the first jump.
Yeah, he certainly did. If you get caught sideways, you end up going off the jump sideways. You got to stay in your lines, keep it tight.
Nice turns by Jared Simmons. You look at that, but now he's having trouble. And look!
Oh!
Big crash by Simmons. Koff is headed to the finish line. What's going to be the result now?
Boy, what a strange duel that is, because Scott Koff, you can see, made a mistake right up top, but he ends up doing okay. He gets off the jump, gets back in the line, continues skiing.
Our freestyle timing gave a 1.62 second advantage to Scott Koff at the finish line. That means he'll get the speeds judge. Scott Koff is the winner, 17-8 at Nelson. I know that was not a pretty sight.
Well, Jared Simmons really just trying to keep up over here in the blue course with Scott Koff, but he gets back on his skis, gets twisted sideways, goes off the jump on his tail, so you can see there lands right on his back, and I'm sure that Jared doesn't feel too good at this point.
17-8 is
and our
the
final
score.
pairings here in the quarterfinals for the men, two former teammates on the French national team, both from La Clusaz, France, the home this year of the World Championships for
Red cross
freestyle
ready.
skiers. It'll be
Blue cross
Antoine
ready.
Rochelle on the
Racers
right,
ready, go.
Jan Kinney on the left.
And the more experienced Kinney, you can see busted out of the start, a bit ahead of his competitor there, Rochelle, and I think we'll get into this first air first. The twister spread there for Kinney, and wow, you can look at him go. He's almost out of the screen, Duffy.
They ski so fast. Kinney on the blue is gone. Rochelle trying to keep up.
Kinney just can't hold onto his line very well there. Got the big speed, but couldn't get a very good jump off. Obviously, he'll finish first, but I think we got some nice turns going from Rochelle over the red course.
Jan Kinney into the finish line. He thinks he's won. He was faster to the finish. 1.01 seconds. His elapsed time edge over Rochelle. But Rochelle will advance the score 14-11.
Nice
Nelson, share
duel
with
by the
us. How
Frenchman.
does it work?
Let's hear it out there on that corral.
Let's take a minute now to look at what the judges are looking for in today's competition. First of all, there's a total of 25 points that can be awarded to 5 different judges. And each one of those judges is looking for different things. There's 2 for turns, there's 1 for air, 1 for speed, and 1 overall judge. Now each judge can give out a total of 5 points, and they can go 4-1, 3-2, 5-0, whatever they feel on how they see it. Now, another thing to remember is that the skier can't cross the center line or hit one of the banners or lose their ski, or they're disqualified. You want to have a total of at least 13 points when you get down to the finish, and you're moving on.
Moving on to our semifinals, Scott Harrington and Chris Carson are on the top side. Scott Harrington just moved into the Tahoe area, a recent transplant. On the bottom side of the bracket, Scott Koff, the 5-time champ from Vail, meets the rookie from France, Antoine Rochelle. The Lake Tahoe area has been quite a magnet for skiers, and many of our top professional skiers on the Mogul Tour are now calling the Tahoe area home. And that's the subject of this week's Paul Mitchell Spotlight, the dunes of Tahoe.
I'm still on a quest for a home. I've tried Colorado, I've tried Canada. What I'd like to do, I think, is settle down here in Tahoe. Tahoe's an amazing place. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got the ocean, it's got the lake, it's got incredible skiing, cliffs like, you know, I can jump cliffs bigger than I've ever imagined. You know, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm the only one here that's not a transplant from the East Coast or Colorado. Like it here. It's a good place. Plan on staying.
I moved here from Colorado because it's killer out here. Terrain's awesome in the Tahoe area. There's lots of good snow right now, and the skiing's great.
Lake Tahoe is a really nice place to live if you're a ski bum because you can work at night and make plenty of money and have the whole day off to play. And even in the summertime, it's great because you can have the whole day off to play during the summertime months. You know, there's biking and hiking and water skiing, all you want. It's all right here. It's a great place to live.
But he left out the girls. Where are the women? They will be next. When we return to Heavenly, it'll be the women professionals on Gun Barrel. Stay with us. Welcome back to Heavenly California. Nelson Carmichael and Duffy Wilson at the Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls. Earlier today in our women's competition, you see on the left, Maggie Connor, the #1 seed.
And Maggie had her share of troubles this morning. She gets off this jump okay, but then you can see she's a bit hesitant on the landing right here. Goes sideways, crosses the center line, and as you know, that's a DQ.
Advancing out of the semifinals into the finals, that woman, Kelly McCormick-Brausch, she will meet. Well, let's see what was decided as we go to Kristen Brown, former member of the U.S. team on your right, and on the left, Alicia Jones.
This was a pretty good duel here. Some nice skiing by both of these girls, although Kristen Brown with a bit of an edge right off the top here with a nice twister spread, and she moves on.
Brown will advance, so the consolation will be Connor going up against that woman right there, Alicia Jones. We look now at Maggie Connor. She was favored in this race, should have been #1. She now will do battle for that #3 position. Let's go to the start.
And a good jump out of the gate from Maggie. You can see her on the right course there over in the red. Alicia Jones looking pretty good in those big bad bumps at the start of the course.
Nelson, the conditions have been so difficult for the men. They have been horrible for the women.
Yeah, it's tricky. You know, when women ski on men's courses, it's exactly that. It's really tricky. The men make these big bumps. I think the women wish they had their own course sometimes.
Maggie Connor making her way down the course. Alicia Jones trying to keep up. Connor off the second air. Nice little double and a hard landing. Look at that.
Well, I think this is the run that Maggie wished she had last run. But of course, now she's got a great run, although it's in the consolation round.
And there she is, last year's Women's Tour champion in the first event of '95. She will take third. And that brings us to our finals for the women. Kelly McCormick-Brausch from Vail, Colorado will be on the right on the red course. She will be going up against former U.S. team member Kristen Brown from Boulder, Colorado, doing her skiing out of Winter Park.
Boy, the conditions certainly have been tough today. Both these girls, I think, are happy to be here, really, to survive the rounds that they've been in previously to get to the final.
Kelly Brausch did not look happy, Nelson. It looked like she had to be pushed out of the starting gate. The conditions are difficult, and look at that, Brown had trouble.
Yeah, Kristen actually crossed her skis there in the blue course right ahead of the first air and barely got off the jump. Now she's really going to have to play catch-up to get up here with Brausch over in the red course.
Brausch is way out in the lead on the red course, and it looks like Brown is trying to catch up.
A spread there from Brausch on the red, but whoa, big trouble there, and a twister spread from Kristen Brown. Kristen has been skiing great, but can she catch her?
It looks like it will be Kelly Brausch at the finish line. Yes, by 0.97 seconds, she gets that speed judge. Kristen Brown, Kelly Brausch. Let's see what the judges have to say as Brausch picks herself up. The judges award the score. It goes to Kristen Brown of Boulder, Colorado. She's the champion here in Heavenly.
And what a tough duel this was for both of these girls. You can see Brausch here on the red course with a little spread, but she can't stick the landing. Meanwhile, a twister spread off the second jump from Kristen Brown over in the blue course. And you know, Kristen was playing catch-up all the way down, but really skied great, and that's what got her the win.
Well, let's play catch-up with one of the great American skiers himself. Let's go skiing with Nelson Carmichael.
Yeah, gun barrel run, man, what a thigh burn. Hey, state line, here we are in Nevada. Cool, another state, same price. This is the Carson Valley. All right, back in the Golden State. Ow.
Hey, what's this? Is somebody following me?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, how are you, man? How you doing? Nice to see you. It's good to see you. I'm gonna go ski some trees over here. You wanna go? Skiing right here. Let's go. Here we go. Yahoo!
Welcome back to the Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls presented by Patron. We are set for the men's semifinals as you look at the start. On the red course from Frisco, Colorado, skis out of Keystone A Basin, it's Chris Carson. He'll be going up against Scott Skyman Harrington on the blue course. Harrington seated number 16, Carson seated number 5.
Red course ready, blue course ready, racers ready, go!
And if these guys can keep it under their hat and keep the speed down a little bit, it should be a good duel. In the semifinals, this is where a lot of the marbles come into play.
Carson skiing very well on the red course. Scott Skyman Harrington skiing on the blue.
Harrington's getting a little wild. Oh, and what happened on the red course? Looks like Carson lost a ski. Harrington coming through the line. He knows he's got it.
Skyman Harrington to the finish line and another crash, but he will win this race. Harrington advances to the final.
Poor Chris Carson. He was skiing well up until this point here. You can see he's absorbing the bumps. Right here, there's a real abrupt one, and he just walks right out of his binding. Meanwhile, on the blue course, Scott Harrington has probably one of the nicest jumps of the day right here. Daffy, twister, spread, but he doesn't reach forward enough for the landing. Gets backseat, and he's getting a bit wild here. Legs out to the side, just surviving.
Well, he is surviving in the back seat and on his way to the finals. Skyman Harrington will advance. The reason we have a finals in 1995, thank you very much to our title sponsor, Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care. Their CEO and co-founder is JP, John Paul DeJoria.
Well, the reason that John Paul Mitchell Systems stepped forth and, shall we say, backed up and supported professional and amateur mogul skiing is because we thought it's a fabulous American sport. The people involved are having good fun. It's things we'd like our kids to do, keeps people off the streets, and it's just really a good thing. It'd be really silly if it disappeared.
And now our second pairing in the semifinals. It's 5-time world champ Scott Koff out of Vail, Colorado. He will be on the red course. He represents America. Going on the blue course out of La Clusaz, France, it's Antoine Rochelle. Racers are on course.
Both of these guys have had a pretty easy go at it in the earlier rounds, so they're really going to have to ski right now. This is it.
Scott Koff triples up off the first air on the red course, and Antoine Rochelle gets his skis back together, heading for the lower air.
Antoine's ahead, but a little bit sloppy. Nice jumps there. Koff with a real nice jump, and Koff with the speed now coming through the finish.
Scott Koff looked great to the finish line, Nelson.
With that freestyle watch time, different 0.57
and Scott Koff advances 15-10 on the red.
Applause for our skiers there, bringing it on home here, semifinals.
Right here is where Rochelle lost big turns points from the judges. Gets going fast, but the turns get way too loose, gets a little erratic. You can't do that and get good points.
Judges' decision.
So that sets up our finals bracket. It'll be 5-time world champion Scott Koff going up against the veteran of the tour, Scott Skyman Harrington. Nelson, we talked about it earlier. You know, we had these seeds, first event of the year, Chuck Martin, Bobby Alva, Gary Gahn. It was a very tough day for a lot of good skiers.
Yeah, the first event, like you say, you never know what's going to happen, but even more so, the snow conditions, I think, really added to that element. It gets so fast in the track, that wet snow packs down. You have to go a little slower just to maintain, to survive. If you get out into the side, into the soft snow, you can just flip right over and you're out. So these two guys now in the final, they've basically survived their rounds to get there.
Yes, they didn't flip over, but we saw a lot of skiers flip out of this competition. When we come back, it's the finals. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls. We are ready for the finals. The men will settle it right now. Let's see who will be third place. On the red course, it'll be Antoine Rochelle. He will be red. Chris Carson will be on the blue course. This is for third place.
Red course ready. Go. Blue course ready. Racers ready. Go.
Big bucks on the line here. Chris Carson knows it, and he blasted out of that gate first. Nice start there. Whoa, Rochelle with some trouble off the side of the jump. His feet were awfully close to that center line. Carson is just jamming through the middle part of the course.
Nelson, I'm not sure that Rochelle didn't DQ right there. Carson is long gone on the blue course.
And into the second jump here, double twister for Carson, and a triple twister there for Rochelle. He's doing everything to see what he can do for judges' points.
Chris Carson will get to the finish line first. Rochelle close behind. Carson holds his hand up. He thinks he's the winner.
Well, Rochelle, this is very close here. He looks like a receiver trying to catch that ball and stay in bounds, and in fact, he does. The judges score it.
Decision. Who will take home third position?
Carson gets his landing, heads to the finish, and he is the winner. The score 15-10.
Is the winner.
And we are now set for the final wonderful day here in Heavenly. It's the men's finals. The 5-time world champ is at the top of the red course. Scott Koff from Vail, Colorado is ready to go on the red. Scott Harrington, the Skyman from Squaw Valley, California, is on the blue course. Harrington was seated number 16 on the blue, Koff number 6. And our final race is on course, Nelson.
As the blizzard starts to set back in here at Heavenly, I think the most important thing is just if these guys can ski their own course, ski their own game.
Scott Koff, the timeless one, he retired last year, came back, won the first event of the year in Breckenridge, Colorado, and now here he is. He should win the first event of the year in 1995. It will be Scott Koff once again, starting off the season with a big win as the fans cheer him on. Skyman Harrington certainly living up to his title. He skied, man.
Now we await judges' decision.
Scott Harrington has that reputation of the Skyman, but he couldn't hang on to it that time. Scott Koff on the bottom jump here gets a nice takeoff, daffy, twister, spread. Look how he goes to the side so he can land in that softer snow and then jam on through the finish, but he gets a little wild down here.
And Scott Koff, he is hugged by his wife, Patty Shermankoff, who did not have a great day today, but by the score of 18-7, Scott Koff wins the opening event of the Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls here in Heavenly. And there are our final standings. For the men, Scott Koff on top 2 years in a row, and for the women, the first win for Kristen Brown. Let's get down to our colleague Nelson Carmichael in the finish with our winners.
Well, as the snow continues here in Heavenly, I've got a great spot right here because I'm with the winners. First of all, Kristen Brown, congratulations. We were talking a little bit earlier. I know sometimes you don't feel all that great even though you win. What happened today for you?
Well, I had a few good runs earlier in the day, and by my finals run, I moving on to that round of 8. Been on for a few hours, and I had some trouble spots. I didn't ski my best run, but I had enough of a package to put it all together, and it
meet up with a sled to take you back.
Good job. That's what it's about sometimes in those duels. You just have to beat the person next to you. Scott Koff, great job. Last year was really the same story. You came right back out right on the tour. First win, first event of the season, and here you are again today.
Yeah, it feels great. I had a little break skiing against Jared. Wasn't my best run there, but I felt pretty strong all day besides that run.
Yeah, it seemed to me you had a kind of an easy route until maybe the semifinals with the new Frenchman.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was easy or not, but I was pretty happy
down through the bottom section of the course.
How my draw came down because I was pretty.
Got Anthony Rochelle coming across first.
I felt the tougher duels. I had that red course where I was a little more comfortable. So,
all right.
Attention once again, all competitors.
Thank you very much, Nelson, and congratulations to Vail's Scott Koff, the champion here in Heavenly. The Paul Mitchell World Series of Moguls has been brought to you by Outdoor Products, backpacks made right here in the USA. Our accommodations here in Heavenly provided by the Embassy Suites, South Lake Tahoe's 4-Diamond Resort. This has been a presentation of CE Sports in association with ESPN.